Welcome to the Drinking Rethink, a podcast designed to help you take a fresh look at alcohol and the role it plays in your life. Whether you're starting to question your drinking habits or simply curious about making changes, this podcast offers a balanced perspective without the pressure of having to think you need to quit entirely.
In each episode, we dive into real conversations about the role of alcohol in your mind, body, and career. We explore topics like reducing stress without relying on alcohol, navigating social situations with ease, and finding satisfaction in making mindful choices. You'll hear relatable stories, expert insights, and practical tips to help you with your own drinking rethink. If you're a regular drinker, it's important to check in with a medical professional before making any big changes to your drinking patterns.
Welcome back to the Drinking Rethink. I'm Kath, joined by my co-host and friend Chris, and today we're talking about something that's often one of the biggest hurdles for anyone rethinking their drinking: how to handle other people's reactions and responses in social situations when drinking less or not at all. We'll dive into navigating conversations with friends, family, and work colleagues, share personal experiences, and offer strategies and tools to make your journey feel less isolating and more empowering.
First, we'll reflect on why other people's reactions can feel so tricky. Then, we'll explore strategies for handling social dynamics with friends, family, and finally we'll focus on the workplace, how to navigate events, networking, and those after work drinks. You'll leave with tools to feel more confident in your decisions, no matter what the setting.
I'll start by sharing how nervous I felt the first time I had a big drinking group of friends over for a dinner party early in my alcohol-free lifestyle. I really worried that people would think I was rude not drinking as the host and that I wouldn't have as much fun. But what I found was that most of those fears were in my own head, and that when I had woken up the next morning, I felt so good because not only had I still had a lot of fun, I'd cleaned everything up from the night before, and I was able to attend the yoga class that I had booked early the next morning.
For me, it was in the workplace where drinks was such a big part of the culture. Team celebrations, client dinners, Friday nights at the pub. When I decided to cut back, I was often worried that I was standing out or I wasn't being sociable. But as I navigated those situations, I realized there is many other ways you can make it work without feeling awkward.
It's really interesting, I think, Chris, when you change your drinking habits, even in small ways, it can feel like a spotlight is on you. But one of the things that we've both noticed is that people's reactions to you choosing not to drink or to you drinking less often say more about them than about you.
Exactly. Dr. Anna Lemke explains that when someone reacts strongly to your choice to drink less, it's often because it challenges their own habits. She's done a number of really cool YouTube videos that we'll put in the show notes, and she's also the author of Dopamine Nation. She also talks about how it's not personal, it's a reflection of their relationship with alcohol.
I love Dr. Anna Lemke. I could listen to her podcast episodes forever. She just has such a great way of explaining so many things about the role that dopamine plays in addiction. And I think it's really important to remember that you actually don't owe anyone an explanation for why you choose to drink or choose not to drink. Your choice is valid and you don't have to justify it. And if you do think you need to justify it, sometimes it's really important just to come up with some simple responses to friends and work colleagues beforehand.
Yeah, it's always challenging because we're not in control of other people's reactions, of course. But let's talk about friends and family and social settings. These are the people who are supposed to know us best, which can also make their reactions feel more intense.
So true, Chris. A strategy that's really worked well for me and for many of my clients is just keeping it straightforward and simple. If someone offered me a drink, I'd say something like, "Yes, thanks, I'll have something non-alcoholic as I'm taking a break from alcohol at the moment." Or, "No, thanks, I'm doing a health challenge, so I'm not drinking alcohol." Most people don't push beyond that if you own your choice and sound positive about it.
Humor can often help as well. I'll say something like, I'm giving my liver a vacation, which can lighten the mood and shift the focus away. Or the other one that I like to say is that I was a professional drinker, but now retired.
I love that one. I think that's a great one. I use that one as well. I often say, I've done enough drinking to last a lifetime. And you know what? If someone does really press, it's important to use a boundary setting approach. For example, I really appreciate your concern, but this is something that's important to me, my health, and I'm not having a drink. And it usually ends the conversation if you make sure that you own your choice and what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that. It's also okay to just change the subject. Funnily enough, we don't go around asking work colleagues about their personal lives or any other intimate details about choices or values they have. So drinking shouldn't be any different. If the conversation feels uncomfortable, just steer it towards something else, like a shared interest or the event that you're at itself.
One of the other areas that a lot of people think about is navigating work dynamics, office Christmas parties, work drinks, Friday night drinks. And it can really be tricky, especially if alcohol is tied to sort of networking or team bonding. But as we both know, Chris, having come from corporate culture, the truth is that you can still connect and contribute without drinking, but it can take time to feel comfortable in these scenarios.
Yeah, some of the best advice I got was just to expect it to be awkward for 10 or 15 minutes. Give yourself that first goal to navigate that. Put your own drink in your hand. Go straight to the bar or the waiter or the venue that you're at and get the drink of your choice so that the offering is taken out of the equation, especially early on. I also found focusing on the purpose of the event helped. Like, you're there to network and build relationships, so no one really notices after a while what's in your glass. Just think about talking with and connecting with the people that are there.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And again, it's about having a response ready as well if you feel a bit under pressure. It really can be something as simple as, not tonight, I'm driving, or thank you, but I've got an early start in the morning, so I'll have a sparkling water instead. Most people accept and move on quickly, and we don't actually have to spill out the complex reason as to why we might be having a break from alcohol.
And if you're leading a team, remember that your example matters. So offering non-alcoholic options or hosting alcohol-free events shows other people that socializing doesn't have to revolve around drinking. It's about creating the safety for other people to step into.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I love this. It's about inclusivity. There are plenty of reasons why people in the workplace may choose not to drink alcohol. Some of those which might be religious reasons. And so it's really important as a leader in the workplace that you are catering to everyone's different choices. So here is one of the mindset shifts that I think can be really helpful. Often when we are changing our relationship with alcohol, we go into social events dreading them and thinking, I just have to get through it. One of the things I would offer is that you can actually practice and build deeper connections with people when you go into these events. And I remember specifically a party that I went to. I showed up on my own. I brought my alcohol-free drinks with me. I got there early. That's another thing I would recommend, getting there early before the drinking's really ramped up. And one of the challenges I gave myself for this evening was to go and talk to either a person I'd never met before or someone who looked like they didn't know a lot of people at the party. And this became something that I really started to enjoy. I'd meet new people, I'd open up new conversations, and I would leave feeling that I had benefited from a new connection or that I had made someone else feel a little bit more comfortable in a social situation where they might have been feeling a bit awkward.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've had some of the best conversations at work events when I had stopped drinking. I was sharper, more intentional, still just as funny, and able to connect in a way that felt more authentic. Well, let's wrap some of this up and think about what you can take away. The first thing that stands out for me is preparing a go-to response for when someone offers you a drink. Like Kath said, a good one is not tonight, thanks, or I'm taking a break. The second thing to think about is experiment with your own non-alcoholic alcoholic drink at social events. It can make you feel more comfortable. Even if you were first starting by just switching it in between alcoholic drinks, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Just try and get your brain and body used to doing something different.
Yeah, and one of the reflections to come back to is maybe think about a social situation where you felt pressure to drink. How might you approach it differently next time? What could you say or do to make it easier? And then maybe give yourself a challenge and put it into practice.
If you know someone that's navigating these challenges and if this is resonating for you, we'd love for you to share the episode with others. Let's help each other rethink drinking together. This is common for so many people, and the more people talking about or even thinking about this stuff, the better.
Today, we explored how to navigate friends, family, and colleagues when making changes to your drinking habits in social situations. Please subscribe to the podcast, follow us on Instagram at The Drinking Rethink, and share this episode with someone who might find it helpful. Thanks for listening, and Chris and I look forward to seeing you next time.